Hey, welcome to more Random Thoughts in Random Places. Now, our next topic of discussion is a touchy one, but then most things are. I've recently just come from doing a small experiment, and it is in regards to bullying, gaslighting, and trolling. And I think all three of these happened in a very short space of time. So what was intriguing me, what I found curious is, how does it start? Because there's the quiet before the storm, because it doesn't just become bullying and you're right in the midst of it. It had to have started somewhere where it was almost unnoticed, sly, slipping in, you know? So I did a little experiment, and it was draining because I was both participant and observer. And it was draining, it was mentally draining, because it was very sad to watch. It showed that people lacked empathy, that they are very desensitized. So over the decades, to desensitize people, that's absolutely worked. It has worked. For those that put up the nasty comments, it shows that they didn't once think, hold on a minute, that person could be unstable. And for the jokes that you're saying, mentally unstable. But you still went there. You didn't consider anything apart from the good feel that you were going to get being able to tear someone else down. You see that there's a vulnerable person, what could be a vulnerable person, but it didn't faze you at all. It didn't faze you at all. In actual fact, it encouraged you. And then what you see is the group mentality, where others just dive on it as well. Now, whether they actually watch the video or not is really irrelevant. It's the fact that they jumped on the bandwagon quite happily, no questions asked, not at all, just so sure. And even if that person was a bit simple-minded, what on earth would possess you to attack that? Yeah. I think in the experiment I saw about 2 or 3, just a small handful, that actually stayed neutral and didn't get their 2 pence worth, didn't try to join in. Beautiful, but hardly anyone was like that. It was mostly, I would say, people with insecurities. There's a moment for you to feel important, relevant, through the mocking and bullying of someone else. Now, what people might mistake this for is, oh, it's just light-headed stuff. Oh, I don't mean nothing by it. Well, see, that's the funny thing. Saying it does nothing for nobody. There is no productivity in being a bully, being a verbal bully, making fun of people, making fun of what you think is a simple-minded person. There's nothing in it. So why do it in the first place? The only person that's going to get any gratification from it is you, the bully. Yeah. And so it's amazing to see how things were just quiet, and then slowly but surely in it comes. And then people start to get a bit braver, and it's like the trickle effect. It's all trickle, until it became out of proportion. It just blew up. And the sad thing is when you're trying to say something productive with people, something that's got meaning and substance in this world, you get shut down, or you get just a few little likes. The way people gravitated towards something that was quite sad, to be honest. It was so many, you're all over it. It was so toxic. It did nothing for nobody, but there was so many. I went from 24 likes, and some people were like, looking like that, and then it blew up to 190, and then out of nowhere, by the end of the 5 days, it was over 500. But when I do something productive, and when I ask people to say like and subscribe, you drag it on. It takes you a long time to do that. But when I put up something that was vulnerable, wow, in it went. The attack as I'm sitting there observing the comments. This is why I watch a lot of comment sections, because you can learn so much about people. You can actually do a basic profile on people. You can. You need to just have the passion, the curiosity, and the patience. But like I said, learning about human behavior is one of my favorite things next to music. I love it. I'll spend all day doing it. I'm that dedicated. I'll spend all day. I'll observe, I'll monitor, I'll do my percentages, I'll go away and do my little calculations. I'm all over it because I love it. I absolutely love it. And the reason why I love it is because there was a time when that was a horror to me, having to survive nasty human beings. It was an ordeal, but I did it. And so then I said to myself, well, if I'm going to have a miserable time from it and overcome that, then why don't I turn this into something fun? And so learning about psychology, criminology, sociology, and psychology is just a dream to me. I absolutely love it. I love to observe human beings, and I love to find and figure out where we're going, what we're doing, and it's amazing how ignorant people are. You know, when we say, oh, we're doing really well. No, we're not. The human species is not doing well at all. But you're fascinated with the ignorance of it all, the denial. You know, as a species, on a galactic term, we are lousy, just lousy. But we were given the freedom of choice, so we choose to be ignorant, because that's what happened. When I let people know, you do know this is an experiment, don't you? They went straight into denial. They could not even handle it. So then they started to make more fun. Oh, you think you're clever. You think you're this. You think you're that. No, sweetheart. A smart person knows they don't think they're clever. A smart person knows they always got something to learn. Because how can I teach if I am not learning? You see? I'm not trying to catch anybody out. I'm simply, from a genuine perspective, simply just trying to understand the diabolicalness of the human species, the human nature. Where does our true predisposition lie? Are we really this messed up, or were you indoctrinated since birth? You see? When people are so cocky, you should have seen the way these people, like flies on shit. They really, they couldn't help it. They were all over it. Couldn't wait to show that side of them, which I'm sure they hide very well from their little inner circles. I bet you hide that, don't you? Because that's what you can tell about bullies. They're sneaky. They will give you a persona that they are not, but they are the Savile effect. What I call the Jimmy Savile effect. They'll have everybody in the community fooled. Yeah. Mr. and Mrs. Sophistication. Hardly. You can't hide that behind your car, your clothes, and your fancy words that you use. I can see you. That's the whole point. I can see you. And I've always wondered, because there's just been a case where a young lad, he's 10 years old, and the stuff that he's thinking in his head, you don't want to think about it, because how must it feel for those parents? He's just unalived himself because of bullying. See, you don't stop to think that your moment of, I'm having such a great time, what that's doing to that person, because obviously what you're doing is a nasty tactic, which means somebody somewhere is going to be hurting. But you haven't thought about that, have you? Now, if I wasn't the strong woman I was, and that really was a victim there, that really was a vulnerable person there, just trying to join in with a conversation and gets totally annihilated. Well, I hope you guys are proud of yourself. I really do. I hope you're proud of yourself, the way you went in. You've given so much to society. You really have. That was so productive. It was so intelligent of you. You know, we've really lifted up humanity. Totally wonderful. So yeah, I hope you're proud of yourselves. And as soon as I get my podcast equipment all arriving and set up, we're going to be doing podcasts. And again, it can be about any topic that you like, something that's close to your heart, something that you feel doesn't get enough attention or enough acknowledgement. We can go through that. You can share your thoughts, your experiences, if you wish. If not, cool. I will take the lead and I will just do the podcast, by myself. But hopefully people will want to engage. And that's where I'm going to be taking it. So soon I won't be on here. That's the plan, is to move it into private podcast, and then I won't be restricted, because I know how social medias work. They'll have me being called the bully, that's how strange it is, because toxic behaviour is allowed to flourish on these media sites. I've watched it. I've been restricted for making a comment on a certain type of behaviour, which is absolutely disgusting, and I was told I was wrong. So here we go. It's right in your face. It's in your face. And so that's why it's time to gravitate to bigger and better things, because things need to be discussed in all its entirety without some secret little eyeball watching us, telling us that we can't discuss these things when they need to be discussed. They do, because they get hidden under the rug, and then people wonder why people are closed off and they're just ending their lives. It's got to stop. And the fact that someone at 10 years old has got thoughts that shouldn't even be in their mind at that age is just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. But, on a good note, do love each other. Do call each other, have a wonderful day. Be safe. And as always, Jah love.